Time now for the exchange, when we connect you to Algeria's foreign minister. I spoke earlier with La'Mamra, who's in New York for the UN General Assembly. I began by asking him if diplomatic ties have improved between Morocco and Algeria since they were severed about a month ago.
Algeria has been extraordinarily patient in face of all the acts that the Kingdom of Morocco has perpetrated against the sovereignty of Algeria, against the unity, the national unity of Algeria, and many open and covert actions directed against the sovereignty of our country. That is why we believe that taking such a decision was sending the right message to the government of Morocco. That is, we cannot afford to accept anymore such a behavior on the part of a neighboring country. So this is a civilized way of putting an end to a situation that could not last anymore without running the risk to cost more casualties and to take the two countries into a path that would not be desirable.
How is this a civilized way of handling these tensions, Ambassador La'Mamra, when these are decades-old problems, but when you decide to completely cut off any sort of diplomatic ties, how is that the civilized way of dealing with the conflicts there?
I believe that is a civilized way, because we have been waiting for the government of Morocco to clarify a number of issues which were clearly an interference in our domestic affairs, which were attempt to dividing the Algerian people and to create a situation that would be destabilizing not only for Algeria but the entire region of North Africa. So the assurances and the clarification did not come forward from the leaders of Morocco, and therefore the Algerian government had to take a sovereign decision, and that is to take a decision which is a way to recall that there are obligations in the life of neighboring countries. There are a number of key principles of international law. There is neighborly relations that need also to be adhered to, and without such a situation, there is no reason for two countries to continue to entertain diplomatic relations and signaling that a situation is normal while it is obviously abnormal. And it had to come to an end anyway.
France, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, these are countries that have offered to mediate between the Kingdom of Morocco and Algeria. Are you open to these kind of talks?
This is not a situation that calls for mediation, quite honestly. It calls for Morocco to change its behavior. It calls for Morocco to understand once and for all that interfering in internal affairs of Algeria, threatening the national unity of Algeria, calling for military alliances from outside of the region is something that is likely to generate tension, persisting tension in the region. So there is no way for Algeria to entertain any mediation. It is a sovereign decision. It has to be understood as such by all countries.
You talked about destabilization. One threat you both face is that of terrorism in the Sahel, and both Morocco and Algeria are critical in the war on terror in the Sahel region. How can you deal with this threat collectively when you're not even talking, sir?
Algeria is a key player in the Sahel, and Algeria has done in the struggle against terrorism more than any other country in our part of the world. Algeria is moreover conducting the mediation between Mali and rebel movements, and it is also building some kind of good neighborly relation in the Sahel, promoting national reconciliation in a number of countries in the region. So Algeria is really a key player and an actor that stands for helping all the neighboring countries to resolve their own problems peacefully.